Aaron Holt lived alone on the rocky plateau of Yalora, a planet on the very edge of human-colonized space. His small outpost was barely more than a cluster of metallic structures, patched together from old mining stations and abandoned satellites. The stars stretched in endless darkness above, silent witnesses to the isolation he had chosen. Aaron was an engineer, but not a common one. His work was precise, almost obsessive, and he loved the quiet company of machines over that of people. He had friends once, long ago, but now the hum of generators and the soft glow of control panels were enough. That night the winds were colder than usual. The thin metal walls of his cabin creaked as he sipped his usual nutrient broth, eyes tracing the starlight through the reinforced glass. He liked patterns in the constellations, the way stars formed shapes that repeated across galaxies. It was a minor distraction, but one that kept him from feeling too lonely. The night was calm, almost too calm, when suddenly a deep tremor shook the plateau. Aaron dropped his cup. The liquid spilled across the floor as a roar echoed from the horizon. It was not a natural sound. It was deep, guttural, and carried the weight of a living mountain. He ran to the observation deck, eyes scanning the distance. A shadow moved across the rocky terrain, enormous and impossibly wide. It was a creature unlike anything he had ever seen or even imagined. Its scales shimmered in the faint starlight, a dull gold with streaks of dark crimson. Its wings were tattered, dragging behind it, leaving deep grooves in the ground. Aaron froze, unable to comprehend what he was seeing. The creature, a dragon by appearance, approached slowly, each step shaking the earth beneath it. But what made him step back in disbelief was not just its size or beauty. It spoke, not with words, not with sounds, but with a voice inside his mind, calm and pleading. "I am Saralyn," the voice said. "I need your help. My child, my last child, is in danger." Aaron's mind spun. Telepathy was impossible, or so humans thought. And dragons were supposed to be myth, not living, breathing beings. Yet here she was, wounded and desperate, and she spoke directly to him. I don't know how to help you," Aaron stammered aloud, half to himself, half hoping the creature would not hear him. "You will," she replied, her voice gentle but urgent. "I have no one else to turn to. I have come across light years to find you, Aaron Holt, because you are different. You will not fail." Aaron's curiosity overtook fear. He had faced dangerous machines, rogue AIs, and collapsed tunnels, but never had he been faced with the impossible. And yet something in Saralyn's plea touched him. Perhaps it was the desperation, or perhaps it was the sense of responsibility he could not ignore. He approached the dragon cautiously. Her eyes glowed faintly, amber like molten gold, and there was pain in her gaze. Aaron could see it even from the small observation deck. He opened the door, letting the chill night air rush in. The dragon stepped closer, and he noticed her wings, torn, ragged, some parts missing entirely. Her scales were scorched in places, and a thin stream of blood ran along her flank. I can try," Aaron said finally, "but you need to tell me what is wrong." Saralyn's voice, calm and steady in his mind, relayed the story. Her only egg, the last of her kind, was infected with a nanovirus, a microscopic weapon that was consuming it from within. She had no cure, no healer capable of saving her child. She had traveled across star systems, evading hunters, raiders, and enemies who wanted to destroy her species. And now she had arrived at Aaron's outpost because she had heard whispers of his genius. Aaron's first instinct was skepticism. Nanovirus, dragons, across galaxies? It all sounded like madness. But the sincerity in her words, the fear, the trembling of her massive body, it was real. He could see it. And strangely, He felt a pull he could not explain. This was not just science. This was life, and it was asking for his help. I don't know if I can, Aaron admitted, pacing. I've never worked on anything like this. You're not even human. How can I cure something I don't even understand? You have knowledge, ingenuity, and courage, Saralyn replied. That is enough. I will guide you. But you must act quickly. Time is running out. My child's life is fragile. Aaron nodded slowly. He took a deep breath and followed her to the cave she had made near the outpost. It was a shallow shelter, protected from the wind and lined with stones that absorbed the heat from her massive body. There, in the center, lay the egg. It was enormous, larger than any ostrich egg on Earth, with a surface that shimmered with an unnatural luminescence. Small veins of light pulsed through it, showing life inside, but also showing decay. Aaron circled it, examining the patterns of light, the way the surface seemed to fluctuate. He pulled out his portable scanning device, touching it to the egg's shell. The device beeped erratically, unable to process the energy readings. He frowned. This is not just biological, Aaron muttered. There's something else here, something artificial. The nanovirus, Saralyn said. It is designed to mimic life. It infects, spreads, and destroys from the inside. No healer can fight it, no dragon can resist it. Aaron's mind raced. He had dealt with rogue AIs and self-replicating nanobots in abandoned research stations, but never combined with living tissue. This was far beyond anything he had imagined. And yet, as he studied the egg, he realized something startling. He could try. He had the knowledge, the tools, and the courage to attempt something no one else would dare. I'll try, he said firmly, but we need materials, energy sources, and time. I don't know if I can do it, but I can try. Saralyn's eyes glowed brighter, relief washing through her massive form. That is all I ask. Time is short. Every moment counts. Aaron spent the next hours scanning, analyzing, and assembling what little materials he had. He realized that a purely human solution would not work. He would need to combine his engineering skills with something of Saralyn's energy, something uniquely dragon. The thought made him nervous. Dragons had strength, fire, and mental powers humans could barely understand. Could he harness that safely? Could he risk merging human technology with dragon bioenergy? There's no other choice, he muttered aloud. Saralyn's presence calmed him. Her massive body coiled nearby like a protective guardian. He carefully attached sensors to the egg. Wires snaking across the floor, connecting to a small generator he had salvaged from the outpost. He adjusted frequencies, tuning them to match the energy pulses he detected from the dragon herself. Hours passed. The wind outside howled, carrying the chill of the plateau into the cave, but Aaron worked tirelessly. Sweat ran down his face despite the cold. He could feel the dragon's eyes on him, calm but full of silent encouragement. Finally, he paused and looked at the egg. It pulsed weakly now, but it was alive. The nanovirus had not yet overtaken it completely, and there was a chance, just a chance, that his machine could stabilize it. Are you ready? Aaron asked quietly, though he knew Saralyn could hear him in her mind. I am, she replied. Do what you must. Aaron activated the device. A soft hum filled the cave. Lights pulsed along the wires, casting shifting shadows across the walls. The egg responded, faint pulses of energy synchronizing with the machine. Saralyn's massive claws hovered protectively around it, her wings twitching as if she could feel every pulse. Time stretched. Minutes felt like hours. Aaron adjusted frequencies, monitored feedback, and recalculated his approach multiple times. He could feel the nanovirus pushing back, trying to resist, trying to destroy the fragile life inside. He refused to let it win. Finally, a significant change occurred. The egg's glow stabilized, brighter and steadier than before. The pulsing nanovirus dimmed, as if it had been repelled. Aaron could hardly believe it. The cure, at least partially, was working. Saralyn let out a low, rumbling sound, a mixture of relief and gratitude. It resonated through the cave, shaking the walls. You have done the impossible," she said softly. "I never thought a human could achieve this." Aaron smiled tiredly, brushing sweat from his brow. "It's not impossible. You gave me a chance. You trusted me." The Dragon Mother lowered her massive head, eyes glowing warmly. "Then I will trust you with my child. But know this, human. This is only the beginning. Dark forces are hunting us, and time is short. You may have saved this moment, but the galaxy will not wait." Aaron nodded. He knew her words were true. The universe was vast, full of enemies, predators, and hunters who would stop at nothing to destroy life they considered a threat. But for now, he had done the unthinkable. He had saved a life that should have been beyond saving. As the night deepened, Aaron and Saralyn sat together in the cave, guarding the egg. Outside, the winds howled and the stars blinked silently, but inside, a fragile light of hope had begun to grow. A light that promised that even in the far reaches of space, humanity could rise to meet the impossible. And in that moment, Aaron Holt realized that he was no longer alone in the universe. He had allies in places he could never have imagined, and a purpose greater than survival. He had been chosen, not by fate, but by trust, courage, and the desperate plea of a dragon mother who had come to him when hope had almost died. The night stretched on, and for the first time in a long while, Aaron allowed himself to feel something beyond loneliness. He allowed himself to hope, because hope, he knew, was the beginning of every impossible journey. The sun rose slowly over the jagged horizon of Yalora, casting long shadows across the rocky plateau. Aaron Holt had barely slept. He had spent the night monitoring the dragon egg, adjusting his machine's frequencies and recording energy pulses. The egg was stable, but only just. Any miscalculation could allow the nanovirus to regain strength. Saralyn rested nearby, curled protectively around the egg, her massive body still weakened from her journey. The Dragon Mother's breathing was steady but heavy, and Aaron could feel the quiet hum of her energy, mingling with the soft vibrations of the machine. Aaron sipped a nutrient drink, trying to focus. He knew that stabilizing the egg was only the first step. The nanovirus had not been created by chance. It was a weapon, engineered with intelligence and precision. Whoever had made it knew exactly how to destroy life, especially rare life like that inside the egg. "They're coming," Saralyn said suddenly, her voice sharp in Aaron's mind. Her eyes glowed faintly, scanning the plateau. "The harvesters know we are here. They will arrive soon." Aaron froze. The harvesters were a shadow in human memory, a legend whispered across space. They were merciless hunters, specialists in extermination. Entire civilizations had vanished under their attacks, leaving only debris and silence. If they had discovered Saralyn's egg, the consequences would be catastrophic. "How soon?" he asked, his fingers tightening around the controls of his device. "Hours, not days," she replied. "Their drones move fast. They will stop at nothing to capture the egg. And if they fail, they will destroy everything nearby." Aaron felt a surge of determination. He had already faced impossible odds before, collapsing tunnels, rogue AI machines, and violent storms. But this was different. This was life itself, fragile and irreplaceable, depending on his skill and courage. "We need to prepare," he said, voice firm. "We'll reinforce the cave, set up traps, and I'll fight if I have to. But first, I need to understand the virus better." He connected more sensors to the egg, running advanced scans to map the nanovirus's behavior. The results were alarming. The virus was adaptive. It could reconfigure itself to avoid destruction, and could even attempt to infiltrate living organisms nearby. The cure he had built last night had only slowed it down. It had not eradicated it. He would need a solution far beyond anything he had attempted. "I can try to merge my system with your energy," Aaron suggested. "We'll create a shield that stops the virus from spreading, but it will be risky." Sarah Lynn's gaze softened. She knew the risk, but desperation left her no choice. "Do what you must, human. I will lend you my strength, but be careful. My life and the life of my child depend on it." Aaron adjusted the machine, incorporating the dragon's bioenergy into his own neural feedback system. As the energy pulsed through the wires, he felt a strange warmth, a connection unlike anything he had experienced. The hum of the device now carried a living rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. He could sense the egg responding. The nanovirus resisted, glowing faintly, but it was contained, for now. Hours passed in tense silence. Aaron worked with meticulous care, making slight adjustments to the frequencies. He could feel Sarah Lynn's energy guiding him, steadying him. For the first time in his life, he understood the true power of collaboration, not just between humans, but between species. Then a sudden tremor shook the plateau. Aaron and Sarah Lynn tensed. Outside, sensors detected movement, fast, precise, and numerous. The harvesters had arrived. "They're landing," Sarah Lynn said. "Drones first, then the heavy units. They will tear this place apart if they find us." Aaron felt a surge of urgency. He had prepared traps using mining equipment and old defensive systems scavenged from his outpost, but the harvesters were advanced. Their drones were designed to counter any human defense. Still, Aaron refused to panic. Humans were unpredictable, adaptable, and clever. That was their advantage. "Stay here," he instructed Sarah Lynn. "I'll hold them off. You focus on the egg. Keep it safe." Sarah Lynn hesitated. "I cannot fight now, Aaron. My body is weak. If you fail—" "You taught me courage," he interrupted firmly. "Now trust me to protect your child." Aaron moved to the entrance of the cave, activating defensive systems. Electromagnetic nets rose from the ground, powered by salvaged generators. Automated turrets, crude but effective, hummed as they came online. He had modified old mining drones, giving them targeting algorithms and laser projectors. It wasn't much, but it could slow the harvesters long enough for the egg to survive. Outside, the first wave of drones appeared, sleek and deadly. They scanned the plateau with blue sensor beams, calculating angles and velocities. The machines descended, moving with lethal precision. Aaron's heart pounded, but he acted calmly. He activated the nets, ensnaring the first drone. Sparks flew as its systems shorted. The turrets opened fire, hitting another drone mid-flight. Sarah Lynn groaned softly in the cave, the sound echoing like distant thunder. "You humans, unpredictable, dangerous, and clever. I had underestimated you." Aaron gritted his teeth. He knew the battle had only begun. The drones were just the first wave. The heavy units would arrive soon, armed with weapons designed to obliterate entire structures. He needed a solution, something more than machines and traps. He needed a way to fight on a level the harvesters could not anticipate. He remembered the energy pulses, the rhythm of the dragon's power flowing through the machine. A risky idea formed in his mind. If he synchronized himself more directly with Sarah Lynn's bioenergy, he could amplify the shield, perhaps even create a temporary repulsion field strong enough to push back the heavy units. It was dangerous. The strain could permanently damage his neural system, maybe even kill him. But the alternative, losing the egg, was unacceptable. "I have no choice," he muttered. He adjusted the controls, initiating a full neural merge. The hum of the machine intensified, a chorus of energy resonating through the cave. Aaron felt a surge of power unlike anything he had experienced. His mind and Saralyn's were linked, their focus combined. The shield around the egg glowed brightly, forming a protective barrier that shimmered with golden energy. Outside, the heavy units approached, enormous and armed with devastating weapons. They fired, and the ground shook with explosions. Aaron held his focus, guiding the energy field. Beams of destructive force met the barrier, sparks flying, but the shield held. Saralyn, despite her weakened state, rose slightly, sensing the bond they had formed. Together, human and dragon became something neither species could have achieved alone. They moved as one, pushing back the attackers with a force that defied logic. Minutes stretched like hours. Aaron could feel his consciousness blending with Saralyn's, every heartbeat, every thought linked. Pain surged through him as the shield absorbed immense energy, but he refused to let go. The egg pulsed softly, safe within the protective cocoon. The harvester's drones fell one by one, disabled or destroyed. The heavy units hesitated, their calculations thrown off by the unexpected defense. They were built to anticipate human tactics, not the combination of human ingenuity and dragon energy. The pause gave Aaron the opening he needed. He pushed the shield outward, repelling the remaining units with a wave of force that sent them tumbling across the plateau. Sparks and debris flew through the air. When the last enemy unit retreated, Aaron collapsed to his knees, exhausted and trembling. His neural system had been pushed to the limit, and he could feel the strain in every nerve. Saralyn moved beside him, her massive head lowered. She touched the egg gently, eyes glowing with relief and gratitude. "You did what no one else could," she said softly, her voice resonating in his mind. "You have saved my child and defied the galaxy itself." Aaron managed a weak smile. "It's not just me. It's humans. We adapt. We fight for what matters, and we don't give up." Saralyn's gaze softened. "Then perhaps I have underestimated your kind. Perhaps humans are not reckless, not weak. Perhaps you are the bravest species in the stars." The plateau was silent now, except for the hum of the generators and the faint pulse of energy from the egg. Aaron and Saralyn sat together, sharing the quiet moment after the storm. The battle had been won, but they both knew it was only temporary. The harvesters would return, and their hunt would not stop. "We need a plan," Aaron said quietly, touching the egg. "We can stabilize it, but we can't hide forever. They'll keep coming until they find it." Saralyn nodded. "Then we must prepare. But tonight, we celebrate a small victory. We saved a life, and that life will grow. That is worth something." "Human." Aaron smiled faintly. He looked at the egg, glowing softly in the dim light of the plateau. A small life, fragile but defiant, depending entirely on their courage and ingenuity. He felt a spark of hope, a flame that no darkness could extinguish. Together, human and dragon watched the sun rise, knowing that the universe was vast, full of dangers and enemies, but also full of possibilities. And for the first time, Aaron understood the true meaning of partnership, not just among humans, but among species, across the stars. Because in the endless night of space, courage, trust, and determination could create miracles. And tonight, they had created one. The plateau of Yalora was quiet now, but Aaron Holt knew it was only the calm before the storm. The retreating harvester units had not given up. They had simply underestimated the bond between human ingenuity and dragon strength. Aaron had felt it, the unmistakable awareness of an enemy calculating, adjusting, preparing. The harvesters would return, stronger, faster, and deadlier than before. Aaron did not waste time. He spent the morning reinforcing the cave and the plateau's defenses. Using old mining drones, spare generators, and parts scavenged from derelict ships, He set up barricades and traps designed to delay any approaching enemy. Electromagnetic nets were positioned at strategic points, and laser turrets were programmed to cover blind spots. Each system was rudimentary on its own, but together they formed a network that could slow down even the most advanced attackers. Saralyn hovered nearby, her massive wings tucked close to her body. She was still recovering, but the energy she lent to the egg and to Aaron's machine had not diminished entirely. Every now and then, her claws scraped lightly against the rock, a subtle reminder of her presence, her readiness to fight if necessary. "They will come again," she said, her voice steady in Aaron's mind. "Stronger this time. They have no patience and they learn. Every mistake we made, they will anticipate it." Aaron nodded, his mind racing through possibilities. "Then we won't fight them the same way twice. We need to be unpredictable. They expect humans to panic, to flee, to rely on technology alone. We'll give them something they cannot calculate." The hours passed, and the sun climbed higher. Aaron worked tirelessly, but he also monitored the dragon egg. The nanovirus was still present, though its spread had slowed. His hybrid machine, now synchronized with Saralyn's energy, created a protective field around the egg, keeping the infection at bay. Still, he knew this shield was only temporary. It bought them time, but time was a scarce commodity. As the afternoon shadows lengthened, the first signs of movement appeared on the horizon. Dark shapes glided above the rocky terrain, sleek angular drones, scanning for heat signatures and energy signals. The harvesters had returned, as Aaron had feared. "They're here," he said, tightening his grip on the control panel. "Get ready." Saralyn's massive body shifted, wings unfurling slightly. Though her injuries had not fully healed, her presence alone was a warning to any who might approach. "Do not underestimate them," she cautioned. "They are relentless. If they breach the perimeter, we must fight together." The harvesters' drones descended rapidly, faster and more coordinated than before. Aaron activated the first wave of traps, detonating small EMP charges that shorted out several drones at once. Sparks and smoke filled the air as the remaining drones adjusted, changing their flight patterns to avoid the hazards. Aaron's heart pounded, but he refused to panic. He had learned something in the previous battle. Humans had a strength the harvesters could not predict: adaptability, creativity, determination. He activated the laser turrets, targeting clusters of drones. The beams cut through metal and energy shielding, taking down several more attackers. Yet, for every drone he destroyed, 2 more seemed to replace it. The harvesters had brought reinforcements, and the fight was far from over. Saralyn let out a low, resonating growl, a sound that echoed across the plateau. The ground trembled beneath her weight as she moved into position. Though she was still weak, her energy surged in response to the threat. Aaron could feel it, a vibration through the hybrid machine, a reminder that together they were stronger than any single force in the universe. "They will underestimate you," Saralyn said softly. "That is your advantage. Use it." Aaron nodded. He had an idea, risky, dangerous, but potentially decisive. He would use himself as a conduit, channeling his neural energy through the hybrid system to amplify Saralyn's power. The strain could damage his mind, maybe even permanently, but it was the only way to create a force capable of repelling the harvesters completely. He adjusted the system, merging his consciousness with Saralyn's once more. The hum of the machine grew louder, a chorus of energy that filled the cave and extended outward. The egg pulsed within its protective field, responding to the synchronized energy. The nanovirus, sensing the combined force, faltered, its glow dimming as if recoiling from the bond between human and dragon. The heavy units of the harvesters appeared next, massive machines bristling with weapons designed to obliterate entire structures. They fired, and the explosions shook the plateau. Aaron held his focus, guiding the energy field with every ounce of strength he possessed. Sparks flew, rock shattered, and the air crackled with energy as human ingenuity and dragon power collided with the enemy's assault. Saralyn rose fully, wings spreading wide despite her injuries. She unleashed a torrent of energy from her body, synchronized with the machine's pulse. The combined force created a shockwave that repelled several heavy units, sending them tumbling across the rocky terrain. The drones faltered, their flight patterns disrupted by the unexpected energy barrier. Aaron could feel his consciousness straining, neural signals firing faster than ever before. Pain surged through his head and arms, but he refused to let go. The egg's life depended on him, and he would not fail. Minutes stretched like hours. The Harvester's forces pressed forward, relentless and adaptive, but Aaron and Saralyn refused to yield. The plateau became a battlefield of sparks, energy pulses, and sheer determination. Every wave of enemy attacks was met with creativity and courage. Aaron used decoys, misdirection, and synchronized energy pulses to confuse the enemy, while Saralyn struck with precision, her massive claws and energy blasts tearing through the attackers. Slowly, the tide began to turn. Drones fell in increasing numbers, heavy units faltered, and the Harvester's calculations were thrown off entirely. They had underestimated the human ability to adapt, the unpredictable creativity that Aaron brought to the fight. And they had underestimated the bond between species, the unity of human ingenuity and dragon power. Finally, the last wave of attackers retreated, leaving the plateau silent once more. Aaron collapsed to his knees, trembling with exhaustion. His neural system had been pushed to the limit, but the egg was safe, and Saralyn was by his side, her massive head lowered in gratitude. "You did what no one else could," Saralyn said softly. "You have faced impossible odds and held. My child is safe because of you." Aaron managed a weak smile. "It's not just me. It's humans. We adapt. We fight for what matters. We don't give up." Saralyn's eyes glowed warmly. "Perhaps I have judged your kind too harshly. Humans are reckless, yes, but you are also brave, resourceful, and capable of great compassion. Perhaps you are the strongest force I have encountered in the stars." Aaron looked at the egg, its glow steady and warm. He felt a surge of pride and hope. The life inside it had been saved by ingenuity, courage, and trust, a fragile victory against overwhelming odds. But he knew this was only the beginning. The Harvesters would return, and they would be more determined than ever. "We need a plan," Aaron said quietly. "We can stabilize the egg, but we can't hide forever. They will not stop until they find it." Saralyn nodded. "Then we prepare. But tonight, we rest. We celebrate this small victory. Life has been preserved, and that is worth something, human." Aaron allowed himself a brief moment of relief. He looked at the stars, realizing how small his world seemed in the vastness of space, yet how significant his actions had become. He had faced the impossible and prevailed, not alone, but with the bond he had formed with a creature of legend. As darkness fell over Yalora, Aaron and Saralyn settled near the egg, vigilant yet calm. The plateau was quiet, the hum of the generators and the faint pulse of energy from the egg the only sounds. For now, the immediate danger had passed, but the universe remained vast and full of threats. And in that vastness, Aaron understood something profound. Humans were not the weakest species in the galaxy. They were adaptable, courageous, and capable of miracles when they fought for life and hope. Together, human and dragon had defied logic, pushed the limits of possibility, and created a bond that no enemy could sever. They had faced death, danger, and despair, and survived. Aaron knew the real battle was not over, but he also knew this. No matter what came next, they would face it together. Humanity, ingenuity, and courage had proven themselves today, and that was a power the universe could not ignore. The stars above shone silently, witnesses to a human's courage and a dragon's hope, and in the quiet of the plateau, life endured. The plateau of Ylora lay under a pale dawn, the rocky ground still scarred from the previous battles. Aaron Holt had slept little, and even that sleep had been shallow. His body ached from the neural strain of merging with Saralyn's energy, but his mind was alert, scanning the horizon for any sign of the harvesters. Saralyn moved beside him, massive wings folded, her eyes glowing softly. Though weakened, she had recovered enough to stand and guard the egg, her protective instincts as strong as ever. The egg, their fragile responsibility, pulsed with a steady light. It was stronger now, more stable than it had been when they first began the struggle. But Aaron knew this stability was temporary. The nanovirus was adaptive. It could return if they let their guard down. And the harvesters, relentless and merciless, were not gone. They were regrouping, preparing for a final assault to seize or destroy the dragon's last hope. Aaron rose and checked his devices. The traps and defenses were ready. The drones he had modified were charged, the turrets primed, and the EMP nets positioned. Yet he knew brute force alone would not be enough. He needed to combine strategy, ingenuity, and the unique bond he shared with Saralyn. Together, they would have to create something no enemy in the galaxy had ever faced. "They will come," Saralyn said, her voice firm in his mind. "Stronger than before. They have learned, and they will adapt. We cannot let them breach the plateau." Aaron nodded. "Then we fight smarter, not harder. They calculate patterns, predict moves. We will be unpredictable. We'll show them what we can do." By mid-morning, the first signs of the harvesters' return appeared on the horizon. Sleek black drones moved in formation, scanning for energy signatures, while heavy assault units trailed behind, weapons bristling, prepared to obliterate anything that resisted. Aaron felt his pulse quicken, but fear had no place here. He had survived the impossible before, and he would do it again. "Stay behind the egg," he instructed Saralyn. "I'll hold them off long enough for you to finish stabilizing it. Then we fight together." Saralyn's massive head lowered. "You taught me courage, human. Now you must teach them fear." The first drones descended rapidly, and Aaron activated the traps. EMP pulses shot upward, disabling several attackers in a burst of sparks. The remaining drones adjusted their approach, moving with precision to avoid the hazards. Aaron's modified turrets fired, beams slicing through metal and energy shielding alike. Drones fell in increasing numbers, but still more arrived, relentless in their pursuit. Aaron's mind raced. He realized that conventional defenses would not hold for long. The heavy units would arrive soon, capable of tearing apart both his machines and Saralyn's weakened body. He had only one option: a full neural merge with Saralyn, amplifying the hybrid energy to create a repulsion field strong enough to push back even the heaviest attackers. He activated the system, feeling the familiar surge of energy as his consciousness intertwined with Saralyn's. The hum of the machine intensified, and a golden aura of power enveloped the cave. The egg pulsed with life, reacting to the protective force surrounding it. The nanovirus glowed faintly, attempting to resist, but the synchronized energy overwhelmed it. The heavy units advanced, firing devastating weapons. Explosions rocked the plateau, but Aaron and Saralyn held firm. Together, they became a force no enemy had ever seen, human ingenuity guided by dragon power. Energy waves pulsed outward, repelling drones and sending heavy units tumbling across the rocky terrain. Sparks, debris, and energy arcs filled the air. Despite the immense power they wielded, Aaron could feel the strain in his mind and body. The neural merge was pushing him to the limit. Every pulse of energy, every synchronization with Saralyn's bioenergy required immense focus. He gritted his teeth, refusing to let pain slow him. Failure was not an option. The egg, the last hope of a species, depended on his courage. Minutes stretched into an eternity. The harvesters adjusted, recalculating, but Aaron's unpredictability and the combined force of human and dragon power threw off their systems. One by one, drones faltered, falling to the ground disabled. Heavy units stumbled and retreated, unable to withstand the synchronized force emanating from the plateau. Finally, the plateau fell silent. The last of the enemy units had fled, leaving Aaron and Saralyn standing together, battered but victorious. The cave trembled faintly, the egg glowing steadily within the protective field. Aaron collapsed to his knees, exhaustion overwhelming him. His neural system had been pushed to the absolute limit, but the life inside the egg had been saved. Saralyn lowered her massive head, touching the egg gently with her claws. Her eyes glowed with relief and gratitude. "You have done what no one else could, human," she said softly. "You have faced the impossible and held. My child is safe because of you." Aaron smiled faintly, still trembling. "It's not just me. Humans are adaptable, creative, and determined. We fight for what matters, and we don't give up." The Dragon Mother's eyes softened. "Perhaps I misjudged your kind. Humans are reckless, yes, but you are also brave, resourceful, and capable of great compassion. You may be the strongest force I have ever encountered in the stars." Aaron looked at the egg, its glow steady and bright. He felt hope surge through him. Life had been preserved, a fragile victory achieved through ingenuity, courage, and trust. But he knew the battle was not over. The harvesters would return, more determined than ever. "We need a plan," Aaron said quietly. "We can stabilize the egg, but we cannot hide forever. They will not stop until they find it." Saralyn nodded. "Then we prepare. But tonight, we celebrate this small victory. Life has been preserved, and that is worth something, human." Aaron allowed himself a moment of relief. He looked at the stars, realizing how small his world seemed in the vastness of space, yet how significant his actions had become. He had faced the impossible and prevailed, not alone, but with the bond he had formed with a creature of legend. As night fell over Yalora, the egg pulsed softly, glowing brighter than ever before. The nanovirus had been contained, unable to breach the protective field. Aaron and Saralyn watched in tense anticipation, waiting for the inevitable moment that would mark the survival of a species. Then, a faint crack appeared on the egg's surface. Aaron leaned forward, holding his breath. The shell trembled, fissures spreading in intricate patterns. A soft, glowing light emerged from within, followed by a faint chirp-like sound, a sound unlike anything Aaron had ever heard. The egg split open and a baby dragon emerged. Its scales shimmered with golden light, smaller but no less magnificent than its mother. The baby blinked its eyes, glowing faintly, and looked directly at Aaron. A spark of recognition passed between them, an unspoken bond forming instantly. Saralyn let out a low, rumbling sound, a mixture of relief and joy. She lowered her massive head to touch the baby gently. "My child, alive," she whispered. "Thanks to you, human. You have saved more than life. You have saved hope itself." Aaron smiled, exhausted but exhilarated. "I guess I'm an uncle now," he said lightly, unable to suppress a laugh despite the tension. The baby dragon chirped again, responding to Aaron's voice. It crawled toward him, small claws tapping against the rocky ground. Aaron reached out a hand, and the dragon nuzzled it. A spark of energy passed through him, warm and alive, connecting them. He realized that trust had been formed, not just between species, but across the galaxy itself. Saralyn rose, wings spreading slightly, her eyes glowing with pride. "Humans, you have proven yourselves. Not reckless, not weak, but courageous and true. My people will remember this day. Aaron looked at the stars, knowing the universe was still full of dangers, full of enemies who would hunt the egg and its mother. But for now, he allowed himself a moment of triumph. They had survived the impossible. Humanity had risen to meet the challenge, proving once again that courage, ingenuity, and compassion could defy logic itself. The plateau was quiet now, peaceful under the starlight. The egg had hatched, the baby dragon was alive and healthy, and the bond between human and dragon had been solidified. Aaron felt a sense of purpose he had never known before, a connection that extended beyond species, beyond planets, beyond galaxies. Saralyn's eyes met his. The universe may be vast, and threats may come. But together, we are stronger than any enemy. Remember this, human. Today, you have shown the galaxy what humans are capable of. Aaron nodded. And you've shown me that hope can survive, even in the darkest places. We'll face whatever comes next. Together. The baby dragon chirped again, its glow filling the cave with warmth. Saralyn lowered her head, allowing the young one to climb onto her back. She looked at Aaron with a silent promise. The bond they had formed would not be broken. Aaron Holt stood on the plateau looking at the stars above. He had faced death, danger, and despair, and survived. He had saved a life, a species, and proved that humans, when courageous and determined, could achieve the impossible. And in that quiet moment, as the stars shone above and the winds whispered across the plateau, Aaron understood that this was only the beginning. The universe was vast, and humanity's journey had only just begun. But one thing was certain. When humans fought for life, for hope, and for what was right, nothing, not even the most powerful enemy, could stop them. Together, human and dragon, they had defied logic, saved a species, and carved their place among the stars. The galaxy would remember this day, and so would Aaron Holt.